Today, I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays for this Week 6 NFL Draftkings main slate. And like I always do here with these videos, I'm going to go position by position, talking about each play that I like, and then we'll wrap up the video talking about some honorable mentions. With that being said, let's dive right into this. And we're going to kick things off here at the quarterback position. Now, very quickly here, want to name drop both Justin Fields and Joe Burrow. I know people are going to be going there in cash this week. More of a tournament consideration in my opinion, and they both will be in my tournament pool, but if you went there in cash, honestly I can't blame you. Fields a good matchup at home against Minnesota, back-to-back very good performances, has that rushing upside as well. Burrow looked like himself last week, albeit against a very bad Cardinals team. Maybe he can keep that rolling here in week 6, but the first quarterback that's in my cash game pool this week is Matthew Stafford of the Los Angeles Rams, sitting at $6,100 on DraftKings this week in a very good matchup at home against the Arizona Cardinals. We saw what Burrow did to them just last week. At this price, we need 18.3 DraftKings points in order for him to meet 3x value, and Stafford has been legit this year. First in big-time throw rate, 6th in passing grade, and 4th in passing yards. Plus, he's got a healthy Cooper Kupp back now. Puka Nacua looks awesome, and don't sleep on Tutu Atwell either. He's been very good, and again, it's just a great matchup at home here against this Cardinals defense, who is allowing the 6th most fantasy points per game this year to quarterbacks. And then if you're really looking to spend down at the quarterback position here this week, I do think there's some decent value with Gardner Minshew of the Indianapolis Colts. He's sitting at $5,000 on DraftKings this week heading into Jacksonville. Only need 15 DraftKings points in order for him to meet 3x value. And this is a good matchup here against this Jags defense, who has really been a pass funnel defense so far this year. They've given up the 5th most passing yards and 9th most fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. And while I will be trying to get up to Matthew Stafford myself in my cash lineup, I certainly don't mind the price savings you get here with Minshew. Now, moving over here to the running back position, I got 3 that I want to highlight here today, but I do have one as an honorable mention that I'll talk about at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. First guy I want to talk about here is David Montgomery of the Detroit Lions, sitting at $7,300 on DraftKings here this week in a matchup on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At this price, we need 21.9 DraftKings points in order for him to meet 3x value. And look, this is a high volume play, and that's what we're seeking for in our cash lineups. He's averaging 23 touches per game, 105 total yards per game, and Jahmyr Gibbs is expected to be out once again here this week. And we saw Montgomery go absolutely bonkers last week against the Carolina Panthers with Gibbs out. This Bucs defense has notoriously been very good against the run, but that really hasn't been the case so far this year, as they have the 6th worst stuff rate against running backs. The next guy I got on my list here then is Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars, sitting at $7,100 on DraftKings here for week 6 in a matchup at home against the Indianapolis Colts. At this price here, we need 21.3 DraftKings points in order for him to meet 3x value, and I love the opportunity he's getting in the offense this year, ranking 2nd overall amongst all running backs in total carries with 95, and I love the opportunity he's not only getting in the running game, but also in the passing game. He currently ranks top 6 amongst all running backs in the NFL in both rushing yards and receiving yards, which should bode well in this matchup because that Colts defense has been solid against the run itself, but they've really struggled against pass-catching running backs, and we know that ETN can thrive there. And then the last running back that I want to highlight here is Raheem Mostert of the Miami Dolphins, sitting at $6,400 on DraftKings this week in a great matchup at home against the Carolina Panthers. At this price, we need 19.2 DraftKings points in order for him to meet 3x value. Devon Chan is going to be out here this week, but Jeff Wilson is expected back. However, their head coach McDaniel said that he should play around 20 to 25 snaps, so I'm really not too concerned about his workload. And look, this Panthers defense has been horrible against the run all year long, allowing the 4th most fantasy points per game to running backs, and they've also allowed the 5th most yards per carry. Now folks, before we dive into the wide receiver plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Every like, sub, and comment on these videos here truly goes a long way. We're trying to build GriffDogg Sports here into a true sports brand. The faster we can do that, the more content we can publish for you guys. So help us out with a like here today, sub to the channel if you haven't yet. and let's dive into these wide receivers. And there is a lot to like about the wide receiver position here this week, not only from a cash game perspective, but also a tournament perspective. Make sure you stay tuned for my final GPP plays video that I post on Saturday, where I'll break that down as well. But in terms of cash this week, if you wanted to spend up for a Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, again, I have absolutely zero problem with that. I think all three of those guys are cash game viable. But the guy I'm going to highlight here today is Jamar Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals, sitting at $8,300 on DraftKings in a good home matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. At this price here, we need 24.9 DraftKings points in order for him to meet 3x value. And honestly, everyone, I think he should be priced in the 9K range. Not a huge discount here by any means, but you do get a little price savings compared to where I think he should be. This is a guy who's got a 30% target share, 40% air yard share, and a 39% first read share. I really like that. And he's averaging 2.32 yards per route run. And again, this is a really good matchup at home for him against the Seattle defense, who has allowed the most fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers this year. The next guy I got on my list here then is Adam Thielen of the Carolina Panthers, and I know a lot of people haven't name-dropped him in terms of cash here this week, but look, I'm willing to go back to the well for a guy who's been really good in this offense, sitting at $5,900 here on DraftKings this week, so his price has gone up, but still below 6K, and I think he could easily be there at this point. We need 17.7 DraftKings points in order for him to meet 3x value. He's got a 27% target share, 33% air yard share, and a 34% first read share here in his last 4 games. Really like those numbers. And Carolina is a massive underdog in this game against Miami, which should lead to them throwing quite a bit, especially in the second half. And look for Adam Thielen to be that safety valve once again for the rookie Bryce Young. I then got Christian Kirk here of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and honestly, everyone, I wouldn't mind going up to Calvin Ridley here this week, but I truly do like the price savings you get here with Christian Kirk, sitting at $5,400 on DraftKings in a good matchup at home against Indianapolis. He needs 16.2 DraftKings points in order to meet 3x value here. He's got a 22% target share and a 25% air yard share on the year, and this Colts defense has really struggled against wide receivers, allowing the second most fantasy points per game and ranking 20th overall in pass DVOA. And then a value wide receiver play that I like here this week is Josh Downs of the Indianapolis Colts. Going back to that game between them and the Jags, he's sitting at $4,100 on DraftKings here this weekend, so we need 12.3 DraftKings points in order for him to hit 3x value. This is a rookie who's seen a 19% target share and an 18% first read share, and this Jags defense has really struggled against slot wide receivers, giving up the 6th highest passing rate to opposing slot wide receivers. Obviously, that's kind of a quarterback statistic there too, but it's all relative, and Downs plays in the slot about 87% of the time. Now, as far as tight ends go here for this week, I'm going to be looking to spend down at the position like I typically do when it comes to my cash lineup. I got 2 guys here in the mid 3K range, first being Zach Ertz of the Arizona Cardinals, sitting at $3,600 in a matchup on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. We need 10.8 DraftKings points in order for him to hit 3x value. This is a tight end who's got a 22% target share, 21% air yard share, and a 24% first read share. Really like that with Joshua Dobbs, his quarterback. And the Rams defense has not been great against tight ends this year, giving up the 2nd highest yards per reception and 3rd most receiving yards to opposing tight ends. And then the other tight end that I got here is Logan Thomas of the Washington Commanders, sitting at $3,500 on DraftKings in a matchup on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. We need 10.5 DraftKings points in order for him to hit 3x value, and he has missed some time this year due to injury, but in 3 full games, he's seen a 17% target share and an 18% first read share. He's also tied for first on the team with 4 red zone targets, and again, a good matchup here against this Atlanta defense, who's allowed the 5th most fantasy points per game and 5th most receiving yards to tight ends this year. And when it comes to the defense here this week, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to be locking in the Buccaneers. I will name drop the Houston Texans, Detroit Lions, and Patriots as well. I know some people are going to go there in cash, but I like the price savings here at $2,300 you get with the Bucs. Playing at home here against the Lions. Sure, the Lions have been a significantly better team this year compared to years past, but Jared Goff's home and road splits are still very glaring. In his last 6 road games, he's got 14 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Plus, he isn't great against the blitz either, and Tampa Bay blitzes at the 3rd highest rate. You can see the numbers on the graphic now. Plus, at this price here at $2,300, we only need 6.9 DraftKings points in order for the Bucks defense to hit 3x value, and even if they don't do that, it's not the end of the world because we're essentially punting at this position. And as always here, going to wrap up the video with some honorable mentions. Like I said, there's a lot of value and good play at the wide receiver position this week, but also want to name drop Chuba Hubbard here of the Carolina Panthers. Miles Sanders is not going to play here in week 6, so you're getting a really good price take here at 4.3K to play Chuba Hubbard. Maybe not the best running back in the world, but should get a lot of opportunity. And then wide receivers there. If you want to spend up for Tyreek Hill or again Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, I have no problem with that. Jordan Addison should see an uptick in snaps and targets with Justin Jefferson out. Marquise Brown looks to be locked into double-digit targets every week with Joshua Dobbs. A tougher matchup on the road against the Rams, but still a really good price tag of 5.3K. And then if you're really looking for some price savings in the 3K range for a wide receiver, Robert Woods stuck out to me at home against the Saints. Definitely a tough matchup, but being that Tank Dell is not expected to play here in week 6 for the Texans, Woods is essentially going to be wide receiver number 2 in this offense and should see around anywhere from 6 to 10 targets. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks. Let's win some money on this week 6 main slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.